What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tammy Talks. I am Tammy. We are here to talk Our Kind of People, Season 1, Episode 2, My Mother, Myself. And as promised, I learned everybody's names. So if you thumbs down the video last week because I didn't know the names, damn, okay. Learned them for y'all this week as promised. But if you thumbs up the video from last week and you're here back for this week's episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm sure something is floating right here to remind you. Let's take a moment, give you a chance to do that. Thumbs up the video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Leave some comments, and let's get started, y'all. So the episode starts off with Debbie Morgan, who is Patricia. So they're all in church, and she is digging in her purse, and she is loud AF. She was loud. Before they even said anything, I was kind of looking like, I hope she get whatever she looking for out. Like, my God. So, funniest part ever though. Leah turned around and Angela was like, girl, what is you looking at? What are you staring at? So, we know that they have this like very contentious relationship with each other where they don't like each other. They're not really sure why they don't like each other just yet, and it could be because they kind of sense something about each other. Well, actually, we know why Angela doesn't like Leah, but we're not really sure why Leah has like this disdain for Angela. But I think we kind of find out later in the episode. So Olivia tells Leah that her daughter's partying is out of control once they get out of church. And Olivia is Raymond, who's played by Morris Chestnuts. That's his mother, and she sits on the board. I don't remember what the board is called. I don't want to say it wrong in case it is a real board, like Jack and Jill is a real thing. So I don't want to say it wrong, but she tells her that her daughter's partying is out of control, and she kind of shows the video, and we can hear, sounds like sounds like Lauren is out having a good ass time. So, Lance Gross's character, whose name is Tyrik, comes up to Angela. They have a little banter back and forth, and she lets him know that she needs him to refer a contractor for her because she wants to get some work done around the building that she's like living in / wants to start working out of. And he tells her, I can just do it for you. I can do it for you. And she's like, no, I need somebody that's going to really be able to roll up their sleeves and like, let's get with, go with the punches. I don't need nobody that's going to sit and just kind of like a white collar. I want a blue collar man that's going to actually come in here and do some contracting. So he assures her that he can do it. I can do it all. He's not just a pretty face. I will say Lance Gross's acting is way better in this than I've seen in almost anything else. So I hate to say this, but I feel like Tyler Perry does. I don't know if he doesn't give people direction or what, but when you see people outside of Tyler Perry shows, their acting is like so much better. It's like, it's almost scary better. So Leah gets back home after church, and she sees the mail that came in a couple of days before or the day before, and it has the DNA results, and she has her daughter Nikki open up the letter, and it says that 99% sure that they are related. So we know that Teddy Franklin is indeed her father, and they are indeed sisters. I guess on one hand, it's like, I'm glad you found out now, Angela, because damn, like you were really going overboard with it. But it seems like the show is throwing a lot at us very, very quickly. I actually thought she wouldn't get the DNA results back until at least a couple different episodes. A couple later episodes, I should say. This episode moved very fast. It was super choppy. I'm hoping they get the choppiness together. It was like you turned your head, it was a different scene. So it's like, where are the iMovie transitions? Like, it was kind of rough watching this episode, but it was good nonetheless. So Lauren shows up hungover to like the little flower bouquet session that they're doing. She came in, slammed that door loud behind her. She looked a mess. She looked tired. She looks hungover. And as we know, she's been walking around staring at her phone that has all the pictures of her and Taylor, like kind of close together, kissing, almost kissing, like, coupley pictures. So Leah kind of tells her, and it's like, look, maybe we need to go to like counseling together, or we need to go talk so that we can, get some things out in the open. I can get to know more about you, blah, 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 whatever. And Lauren is like, if you knew the truth about me, you wouldn't like me. And we all know that that's referring to Lauren being like, she's gay. She doesn't think her mother will accept her. Jack and Jill is one of those upper echelon, highfalutin, black social clubs, and the social club that her parents are in is, very exclusive and high society. And like, as we all know, that even in 2021, that is still frowned upon. So it wouldn't go over as well for her as, it would if she wasn't a part of that life. You know what I mean? So Lauren is like sick. She runs out of the room to go. She runs out of the room to go throw up. And then that's it. So while she's doing that, Leah grabs her phone and looks at it and sees the pictures, and it's kind of like, oh shit. And I feel like she wasn't shocked. It looked like Leah knew, Leah suspected. So it almost seemed like that was just the confirmation for her, and the confirmation just kind of like pissed her off a little bit. Not because she doesn't love her daughter or she's super against it, but because of what that could do for their status on the island, which is very unfortunate, but that's how people think nowadays. So Leah tells one of the women, I didn't catch her name, to go and deliver the flowers, one of the bouquets that she made to her mother. Angela said, "No, girl, I got it. I'll do it." So Angela also kind of gets them to change the name, and ends up being the Black Diamond Ball. I feel like they just have parties and look good and be rich on that island. Like, that's what they do. So Angela takes the bouquet, and she goes to see Leah's mother, who is in assisted living. And it seems like she's senile or has dementia or something, some type of condition like that, because she thinks that Angela is Leah. So she was like, oh, so she's here, called her a little heifer. And I'm like, okay, her mother doesn't have the best relationship with her. And vice versa, because, I mean, she couldn't even be bothered to go and take the flowers herself. So Angela, like, didn't waste no time getting to the shits. So she's, like, asking her, do you remember this ball back in 1987 or something like that? And she was like, yep, I remember that. And then she starts talking about Angela's mother and states that Angela's mother, Eveline Eve, gave her up for $50,000 to Deborah Ann Washington. So Angela is like, what the fuck is going on? Because she's realizing her mother had all these skeletons in the closet. She's realizing that her mother, it's just not who she thought she was. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has skeletons in their closet, and it kind of sucks that Angela is, like, digging up all of her mothers without her mother being alive to, like, explain herself or even talk her through what she's uncovering. So Angela is like, you don't know this woman. And I'm thinking, don't hit this lady. Don't start braiding her hair too tight or anything like that. Like, be easy. Like, I feel like Angela wears her heart on her sleeves. She wears her emotions outside of her chest. And it is like, it's going to be a detriment to her eventually. So she ends up running out and leaving. And then Leah's mother yells out, you and your father put me in here. You have to get me out of here. So it kind of seemed like probably the first inkling of some type of mental deterioration. They just put her in the assisted living so they don't have to worry about it. She also mentions that Eveline was her friend, and then she became her maid, and that's what happened. So Teddy slept with her and then had the baby, kind of told her you can't keep the baby, sold the baby for $50,000. Now, what we don't think we know is that what we are unsure about right now is if Leah's mother knows that's well, she doesn't know that that's Angela, but we don't know if Eve ever, she doesn't know if Eve ever like got the baby back or kept the baby or whatever the case. So Angela goes home. Before that, before that, um, Tyrik is over at Angela's I guess you could call it a house, at Angela's building, and they uncover like a room that's behind like some drywall, and it's full of like Leah's mother's things, not Leah's mother, Angela's mother's things, and she's going through it and she's like overwhelmed and all this other type of stuff because she I don't know how long ago. Her mother clearly just died. I'm assuming because they haven't spread the ashes yet. So I don't know if her mother like just died or they were holding on to the ashes. But she sees all this stuff that like her mother left behind from her life back then. So she's overwhelmed with it. So then we see Leah is at her photo shoot for Forbes because this is supposed to be her announcement that she is taking over Franklin Holding and becoming, HBIC. So Teddy shows up and she was like, "What are you here for? I'm not here for the bull." And he's like, "Nope. I am just here to see you and all your black girl magic, and I'm proud of you. And I'm just gonna take a couple photos myself, if that's all right with you." Teddy said he wasn't there on the bullshit. He was there to really be supportive. And the way I looked at the screen, yeah, okay. So Leah tells her father that she remembers all the cheating he did when he was younger and are the trips that he would take her on. And she remembers going to Boston one day to see a little girl that was a couple of years younger than her. And it was pouring rain. And it's the exact same scene that we saw that Angela remembered from the day that she was supposed to finally meet her father. So they both have this like vivid memory of the same day of them kind of seeing each other and unbeknowingly meeting each other, not realizing that that was their sister that they were seeing. And Teddy laughed it off and was like, "Girl, child cheese, whatever." Not even paying her any mind. It just kind of, plays her to the left about the situation. So we see Leah show up at Angela's building with her daughters, with Lauren, so they come straight from the photo shoot. And Angela asked Lauren, "How is Taylor doing?" Or she must be doing good because Nikki goes and sees her all the time. And Lauren is kind of shook. She's kind of like, she goes and sees her. She's like, "Yeah, like every day." And then Leah was like, don't worry about it. You're grieving. I know you're having a hard time with that. That's your best friend. And it was like, because I've seen the pictures. And Lauren was like, "Yeah, because I love her. I'm in love with her." So she comes out to her mom, which was kind of forceful the way that it happened. And then I think very random. So she came out to her mom right in front of Angela. And her mother was like, "I can't support that." And I was like, damn, that was the wrong answer. That was the wrong response. So, and Angela kind of tells her, like, now is not the time to push her away. I understand what's going on. I kind of like, and I feel like she was kind of alluding to her daughter being bisexual or her daughter being gay as well. And it was just kind of like, "I know what you're doing. Don't push her away." And they have this like little like bonding moment. And it was kind of like, "Girl, let me know what you are doing with your daughter because and it was like, it was cool. And it was kind of a moment that if they were really on the same accord and they were rocking with each other as sisters, it would have been a phenomenal moment to see. It really would have. It would have been a really, really, really good moment for them to have. But then it's like Leah blinks and it's like, "Girl, I remember I don't like you." So they kind of leave. Angela is talking to Patricia, who knows, Patricia's her aunt, Debbie Morgan, who knows that Angela gave her up. So she tells the story that knows that Angela's mother gave her up. So she's telling the story and said that um, Eve was like scared. She didn't, she wasn't prepared to be a mother. The scandal and stuff behind it. So she initially did accept the $50,000 and gave the baby to Deborah Ann Washington, who was a rich woman who really wanted kids and must have been unable to. So, but then after 6 months, she didn't have the heart to like really sign the papers, to sign the rights away from her baby. So she took the baby back and kept the money. And Angela was like, so she kept the money. I mean, so that is stealing. And Patricia said she could not give the money back because she needed to use it for me, because I needed it, because I had ran into some trouble. So in return, Eve started to work for them and then try to start paying them the money back. So I think that's eventually what gets her to taking the fall for the Franklins, because she owed them that $50,000. So she probably took the fall for them when it came to that drug stuff, right? So then we see Raymond. They're on the red carpet, and Angela sees this lady who is a Tyler Perry known actress. I think she's Ella on House of Pain, and she's playing this lady that is like up to be nominated for being like a black business owner. And the lady is like, I'm here talking to like an up and coming businesswoman. And then this lady's on the cover of Forbes. And Leah kind of looks at her, and Angela was like, yeah, I had the hairstylist use your product and use my hair product on your hair and push it for Forbes. So like it was a win-win for both of us. So Raymond liked what she was doing. Morris Chestnut liked how she like finessed her way into there. And he told her that she was one step closer to being in the incubation program that she's trying to get into. Because earlier in the episode, when she asked him about joining, he kind of told her like, what's your footprint? What are you guys in right now? What are you in right now? What can we see you in that will help us want to get you in more? And it's kind of like the old saying of how when you apply for a job, they want you to have all this experience. But in order to get the experience, you have to go to school. But like, like that vicious cycle of when you first graduate from college and all the jobs that you're supposed to be qualified for want you to have like 5 or 6 years of experience. You know what I mean? So we're at the party at the ball, and they're having like a little jazzy scene where they're dancing, and Nikki sees one of the DuPont kids. I did not catch the son's name. And they're talking, and you can tell he likes her. And Patricia is like, y'all are cousins. Kind of like, no ma'am, now that has to be over. So she is kind of like, I want to be, I want us to be cool, but I like you. Like, she's stumbling over her words because she just doesn't know what to say. And Lauren walks up and was like, why did you show my mom the pictures of me and Taylor? Nikki was like, girl, I didn't. Her not realizing that her mom picked up her phone and saw the pictures when she ran out of the room to throw up. And Lauren was like, you're beneath us. You don't even need to be here with us. I don't know what Lauren's problem is with Nikki. I'm willing to bet that Lauren likes Nikki. Otherwise, I can't think of any other reason why she would like. She's been hating on her since the moment that, the moment they got there, unless it's like Taylor likes Nikki and that's what caused the argument or whatever. Whatever caused that girl to go overboard on that boat. So Nikki likes her to go in. Like, I don't get it twisted. I belong here just as much as you do. And she was about to let it slip up and say, because I'm your cousin and our mothers are sisters. And then Angela like sees her and rushes over and was like, the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? No, ma'am. So she's about to like really get in her daughter's ass, kind of like, don't blow this. Don't start talking out the side of your neck because you can't control your attitude. When Teddy Briggs Bridgewater, when Teddy Franklin comes up on stage. And Leah is up there because she's ready to give a little speech. She's thinking that she's getting ready to announce that she is now the head of the company. When Papa Pope, command of B16, was it B613, himself comes out. So Teddy Franklin comes out and he said, I just want to let y'all know, I don't know what my daughter was talking about. I am not retiring. I'm staying in charge of the company. I'm still the number one. She's going to keep being my princess and, doing what she do to the side. But I'm not retiring, y'all. And it was like a ta-da. And I was like, damn. Y'all don't let this woman get a Forbes cover. She's doing all these interviews and stuff for her to be embarrassed at her own bar. I almost felt bad for Leah. So backstage, we see her and Raymond get into it because it's like, I don't know how. Somehow Raymond's company got wrapped up in whatever Franklin Holdings is doing. And so Raymond doesn't have the control over his company that he wants. And he's mentioned it a time or two before where he has told her, I want my company back. So they're like arguing back and forth. It switches over and we see Angela kind of running behind Teddy Franklin once he gets off stage because she really wants to be eye to eye with him, and I think she wants to tell him or ask him, are you my father? Is it true? You know what I mean? And she freezes because she does call his name. She freezes. He never turns around, but they both know who the other is. So Lance Gross, Tyrik, comes up to her and is like, are you okay? She was like, just leave me alone. She runs outside. She throws up into the ocean and it's like, oh girl, you gotta keep your insides inside. So back over in the kitchen area where Raymond and Leah are arguing, Raymond walks out and then his the white friend that we saw him talking to earlier in the episode, I skipped over that scene. To me, it didn't really add anything of value. It was just kind of we both grew up in the same area, but I'm black, you're white. You grew up more privileged. I really had to truly work and earn everything that I did. It was one of those type of conversations. So he comes in and he's telling her, this is Jack, is telling her, don't worry about Raymond, it'll be fine. And then he kisses her. And I said, I know you were not messing with his friend. And while Jack leans in to kiss her, it was not reciprocated though. That's one thing I did notice. Lauren is outside the kitchen and she sees and she is like, oh no, I'm about to tell. So we see her running down the red carpet, calling her dad's name, about to tell her father what happened. Leah comes running behind her. All of a sudden, we see the police coming from this direction saying that they are arresting Lauren because Taylor's ass done woke up. Taylor survived. Taylor has woken up and it said that Lauren pushed her over the boat. So then Lauren is like, no, that's not what happened. Tell him, Nikki. Nikki said, girl, I didn't see it, which she did not. But my thing is, it's so convenient how all of a sudden now you want to be Nikki's friend. Now you want Nikki to have your back, and you've been a blue bitch to her these past 2 episodes. So Leah was about to run up on Nikki, and Angela was like, no, I would think twice. Oops. Got so excited. And Angela was like, I would think twice about running up on my daughter again. You're going to stop running up on my daughter because you don't like the way she's talking to your daughter. So the police are looking like, fuck what you heard. Taylor said you pushed her. So Lauren, you are now under arrest. I said, damn. So much happened. So then Angela shows up to Tyrik's house to apologize to him. He had a little bit of an attitude at first, but then Leah, it's too many people names, y'all. Angela, because y'all won't let me call them by their real names. So Angela was just kind of I wanted to ask, it's cool how Teddy Franklin, like, how much he loves his daughter and how much he does this and that. And Tyrik was like, well, why wouldn't he? That's his daughter. And she was like, yeah, okay. Because in her mind, it's like, no, he threw me away and that was his daughter too. So Tyrik tells how his father used to work for Teddy as a security guard and he took a bullet for him and that's how he died. And to kind of repay him for that, he always looked out for Tyrik and made sure that he was okay. So Yaya almost let it slip. Oh, so he takes care of another man's son, but not his own. And then she like catches herself. And Tyrik is kind of like, girl, you gotta let that go. So they have this moment where they get into the pool and while she's like he's helping her float and is kind of telling her this is your way to talk to your dad, this is your way to talk to your mom, and kind of just release all that pain that you have in. You gotta get, you gotta find a way to relax yourself. So then we see Teddy is sitting in his office. Leah comes in and it's like, oh, like, what is going on? They're talking and he was like, yeah, Angela Vaughn is your sister. We gotta find a way to get this shit together, tie up loose ends, get everything in order before she come in and get her piece of the pie. And then the final scene is Teddy walking into Patricia's house while she is burning a picture of Teddy. Well, walking into Angela and Patricia's like they're building. She's burning a picture of them in the sink, and he walks in, and she holds a gun to his face, and again, it is Papa Pope command once again being completely unbothered, and it's just like, oh, I thought we was friends. Why you on this right now? So it was a good episode, but it was so much. So much happened so quickly, so choppy. So I'm hoping that once the storylines and the story arc start to simmer out, now we know that they're sisters. Now we know that this person did this. We know about everybody. I'm hoping that everything starts to gel a little more, because it seems like they're running this season as if they don't anticipate getting a second. Like this, like they're getting everything out right away, and it's almost overwhelming. Nonetheless, I am Tammy. That's what I'm talking about today. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch y'all next time.